Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. You're with me, Shehan Ranatunga. Now, before we take a look at your news in detail, let's first take a look at the headlines.
Indian envoy in Sri Lanka meets with the President and the Prime Minister over the East Container Terminal decision. Protest held by the JVP demanding the cost of living be reduced. China blocks UN condemnation as protest grows against Myanmar coup.
Now, first up, your top story this afternoon. Indian High Commissioner Gopal Bagli engaged in 3 high-level meetings, including with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa yesterday.
The Hindu newspaper has reported that India's High Commissioner to Sri Lanka had met with the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena yesterday. The meetings came as Sri Lanka backed out of an agreement with India and Japan to develop the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port. According to the report, the Indian envoy's message was that Sri Lanka must adhere to the tripartite agreement with Japan and India to jointly develop the Colombo port's East Container Terminal. This week, the Sri Lankan government announced that the operations of the East Container Terminal would be entrusted completely with the Sri Lanka Ports Authority.
The chairman of the Samagi Janabala Vega's Field Marshal Sara Fonseca expressed these views on the Colombo Port's East Container Terminal in Mirigama yesterday.
This government tried its best to sell off the terminal. We must congratulate the port workers for engaging in such a committed struggle. The government is not implementing any of its promises. They only deceived the people by inciting racism. They pledged to swiftly arrest the suspects linked to the April 21st attacks and the bond scam as well. But instead of being true to their word, they have struck deals with them. They called off sittings of the Presidential Commission that was probing the April 21st attacks when crucial witnesses were due to give evidence. Therefore, we have a suspicion on the suspects who are behind the April 21st attacks. That is because there is a group of individuals who use this to their advantage.
Today is the final day of rehearsals for the 73rd Independence Day celebrations that will take place tomorrow.
The rehearsals for tomorrow's Independence Day celebrations are taking place near the Independence Square in Colombo with the participation of the Tri-Forces.
Police spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana explained the traffic plan, which will be in effect today and tomorrow in line with the Independence Day celebrations in Colombo.
Final rehearsals of the Independence Day will take place in the vicinity of the Independence Square. Accordingly, travel restrictions will be imposed in this area from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tomorrow, the travel restrictions will be imposed from 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. Therefore, drivers will have to use alternate routes during this period. Vehicles will be restricted from travelling through Nidahas Mawatha from the Nelumpokuna roundabout. Similar restrictions will apply to vehicles heading towards Nidahas Mawatha through the roundabout near the public library. Drivers travelling across these areas are advised to use alternate routes during this period.
These were the views expressed by the leader of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna during an event held to apprise the public on commissions appointed by the President.
The Commission had published a report outlining a set of individuals as respondents. They also make recommendations on the action that can be taken against them. According to the Constitution, these commissions have 2 powers. One is to suspend the civic rights of a defendant for 7 years. We wish to ask Gotabaya Rajapaksa whether he considers us to be individuals who are concerned about our civic rights. We are individuals who will stand with the people seeking a justifiable solution to their problems and not a group that is deeply attached to our own civic rights. That policy might be relevant for other political parties. This is a movement that has carried out its activities although the political party had been suspended for several years. Civic rights were ignored at that time. The other power vested with the commission is to invalidate the parliamentary seat of an accused. The parliament is one place where we can carry out our struggle. There are several means through which we can carry out our struggle, but we are not willing to submit ourselves to justifiable punishments. We wish to inform Gotabaya Rajapaksa that we will carry out a struggle against justifiable punishments that are being meted out against us.
අද මෙතෙන් සිට අපි ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂට මතක් කරන්න ලෑස්ති. ඔය කොමිසම් පත් කරපු නීතියම තමයි 1977 J.R.
Jayawardena cancelled the civic rights of Sirimavo Bandaranaike in 1977 using the legal provisions that were used to set up these presidential commissions. The 1978 constitution had not been passed at the time. The Commissions of Inquiry Act had been enacted before the constitution. It is valid even today. That is what they are using now. The commission was granted a 3-month extension in its term, but its report was handed over before the term had ended. There are individuals who have struck deals with those in power. Their intention is to punish the leaders of political parties that are opposing the government. One individual among them is Anurakumara Dissanayake. We must defeat this exercise from its inception.
Meanwhile, the Janata Vimukti Peramuna staged a protest in Hammantota, highlighting several issues, including the sale of national assets and the rising cost of goods in the country.
The protest was staged by the Janata Vimukti Peramuna in Tangol today.
When Gotabaya Rajapaksa was contesting for the presidency, he pledged that national assets will not be sold. But what has happened today? We wish to emphasize that we are ready to fight for the protection of the country's resources.
The government has been in power for 15 months. The people are finding it difficult to live. The cost of goods have skyrocketed. This includes essential commodities as well. Therefore, we are seeking concessions to be given to the people to reduce the burden on their cost of living.
Last night, wild elephants encroached on an area where farmers in Valsapugala are engaging in a Satyagraha campaign, urging authorities to provide relief to their woes.
බලාගෙන හොඳේ මේ මනුස්ස බැටේවි පැටලවිලා.
ඔයාලද මේ ගෙදර හිටියේ?
ඔව්.
ගයන්.
Some deeply troubling scenes there. Now, speaking of troubling, Sri Lanka's death toll due to COVID-19 reached 330 after authorities reported 7 deaths yesterday.
The deaths due to COVID-19 were 4 females, 2 males and an 18-year-old who are residents of Valigama, Colombo 15, Wattegama, Nittambua, Gelioya, Colombo 2 and Ragama. The total number of COVID-19 infections in the country stands at 65,698. 59,043 individuals have recovered from the virus.
Nearly 800 cases were identified in the past few days. According to the directives given to us by His Excellency the President, we will go to the locations where COVID-19 patients are being found and conduct PCR tests there. That will assist us in preventing further spread of the virus. As of now, we are conducting nearly 19,000 PCR tests a day. We were able to vaccinate more than 100,000 people here in Sri Lanka. More than 25,000 Sri Lanka army personnel have been vaccinated. But putting the vaccine aside, we have to behave according to the health guidelines that have been issued. You being vigilant of your own self is what is important.
The Journalists for Rights movement organized a media briefing in Colombo yesterday.
The press conference was held under the theme, Another January has passed, let's stand up for the justice of journalists.
We know that for a very long time, journalists in Sri Lanka have described January as a black month. This is because it is a month that brings back frightful memories for journalists. This includes the murder of Lasantha Wickramatunga and the abduction of Prageet Teknaligoda. These incidents had taken place in January. Justice was not served on the incidents surrounding Lasantha, Prageet and Podala Jayantha. When we raise concerns about this, we are accused of harping on a minute problem. But we continue to bring these issues to the fore as the country cannot move forward without serving justice over these murders and abductions.
Journalists and media institutions were suppressed severely during the last 2 decades. The Journalists for Democracy in Sri Lanka movement has pointed out that 44 journalists had been either murdered or abducted during this period. We are not asking for a memorial for them. What we need is a system that promotes accountability for these crimes. All governments in the past have come to power by raising concerns on the murders of these journalists.
Secretary of Defence retired General Kamal Gunaratne expressed his views regarding war veterans and public security following an event held yesterday.
An event was held yesterday to introduce a new set of uniforms to all retired Tri-Forces veterans to wear during ceremonious events. The event was organised by the Sri Lanka Ex-Servicemen's Association. Secretary of Defence retired General Kamal Gunaratne was the chief guest of the event. Current and former commanders of the Tri-Forces also attended the event.
All future generations owe a debt of gratitude to all the mothers and fathers who selflessly asked their children to fight for the country, especially at a time where hundreds of soldiers were being killed on a daily basis. My friends, we hail from that proud lineage. The forces are a tribe. This is not merely a job. We represent that tribe. Since the day we joined the army until the day we die, the army's blood runs in our veins. We have the forces' best interest at heart. The forces do not intend to massacre people. Our duty is to ensure the people of the nation are safe and secure. That is what we will carry in our heart. Being able to wear this beret even after retiring is truly a dream come true. All of us here have carried out our duties in the most respectable manner and we retired as victorious soldiers.
ඉතාමත්ම ගෞරවාන්විත සේවයක් කරලා ගෞරවාන්විත විදියට අපේ සේවය නිම කළා ගෞරවාන්විතව පරාජිත සොල්දාදුවන් විදියට මේ ජයග්‍රාහී සොල්දාදුවන් විදියට ගෙදර ගිය මිනිස්සු.
A discussion was held in Unawatuna on the problems faced by the tourism industry amidst the COVID-19 pandemic in the country.
The discussion was chaired by Janata Vimukthi Peramuna leader Anura Kumara Disanayaka. Businessmen in the tourist destination of Unawatuna took part in this discussion.
A tense situation arose at the Ambalangoda Urban Council after its Vice Chairman Kamal Vallage had attended sittings before receiving the results of his PCR tests.
The monthly meeting of the Ambalangoda Urban Council was due to be chaired by its Vice Chairman Kamal Vallage as a replacement to the Mayor who is undergoing self-quarantine. However, opposition members raised concerns about his attendance as he had undergone a PCR test for COVID-19.
අපේ වගකීමක් නේ PCR එකක් කරනවා මොකද අපි ඒව සහභාගී වෙලා තියෙනවා වෙන කවුරුත් කරන්නේ නැහැ මායි තමයි කරා හැබැයි PCR එක රිපෝට් එක මෙහෙම එන්නේ නැහැ හැබැයි බබුත් නෑවිලා නම් සභාවට කටයුතු කරන්න එපා මොකද ඒක නීති විරෝධී නීතියට පටහැනි.
A tense situation arose at the Urban Council as the Vice Chairman had attended the sitting before receiving the result of his PCR test. The sessions were adjourned by the Vice Chairman amidst vehement objection by opposition members.
A fire had erupted at a factory in the Katunayaka investment promotion zone today.
The Fire Service Department of the Colombo Municipal Council said that 4 fire trucks had been dispatched to douse the fire. This was in addition to the fire trucks attached to the Katunayaka investment promotion zone. A helicopter of the Sri Lanka Air Force was also dispatched to assist the efforts to douse the fire. Our correspondent said that the fire had erupted at a waste management factory.
And that brings to an end your news right here on TV1. Thank you for watching.